Do you have in your manifesto that you want to build an airport in Cape Coast, or is this in the speeches?
Oh, no. We do have it in the manifesto. Yes, we should.
Why do you need an airport in Cape Coast?
You know what? People underestimate the progress of development and transformation.
Explain.
You know, let me ask you something. And I'll give you a bit of historical perspective. When Henry Ford first designed the motor car and he introduced the idea to America, people said, well, never. You can't allow this contraption on the roads. That's why. He said because it will disturb the horses. And they were always they used horses and horse-drawn carriages to the extent that the first few motor cars that were put on the road, there was a law that if there was a horse-drawn carriage on the road, the motor car had to leave the road so that the horse would pass there because the horses would be frightened and they'll hurt people. It's all sometimes the mind. Progress is the mind. And that is why inventors and creators and visionary leaderships are far and few between. Because, well, let me answer. Because they come out with ideas that very often people who have not conceptualized it do not understand.
Let me
give you something about Cape Coast. Cape Coast and the region, the central region, is slowly becoming a hub of good business through 1D1F. Secondly, Cape Coast and its environs is a hotbed of tourism potential. Right? Now, if today I want to go to Cape Coast and come back, the in and out, minimum 5 hours. Not to mention the dangers on the road, etc., which I don't want. If I were to have an airport or an airfield in Cape Coast,
direct
flight, probably take me 20 minutes there, 20 minutes back. Any other incidentals, maybe an hour.
Smart.
So 1 hour, 40 minutes, total journey in and out of Cape Coast. Which would you tell me I should do?
Do you know the flaw in your argument?
What's the flaw?
You have an airport 3 hours away from Accra, at Ho, the Volta regional capital. Your party came into office and said that airport was useless. You
know why?
Because you have not flown a single aircraft to that airport.
But do you know why? Hang on.
Ho is farther than
there's
Cape
no
Coast.
flaw in it. There is no flaw in it.
Okay.
Please realize that in business, everything you do, there must be underlying business cases and assumptions.
Okay.
If I take the whole area, we are yet to build a business infrastructure there that would warrant the airport. So I always question, so why did you build it in Ho? I can tell you why I'll build it in Cape Coast, and I'll give you tangible
because you
reasons.
want votes from Cape Coast.
But I'm not doing necessarily only because of votes. Whoever did it maybe wanted votes in Ho. We want serious movement and this thing in Cape Coast.
Yeah, but what opportunities are there in the Volta region?
Are they like the opportunities I've outlined?
Many tourist
so then they should come out, whoever put it there should say, this is why we built the airport.
Do you know our tallest mountain is in the Volta region?
Yes, I know. I've climbed Afajato.
Do you know the monkey sanctuary is in the Volta region?
Yeah, but the other monkey sanctuaries everywhere. It doesn't mean I should build an airport
so what
anywhere.
is
is there the business case that you make?
But what does Central region have that the Volta region does not have?
Much.
For which reason we should have an airport in Central and not in Volta?
There's so much. I've told you that the Central region is becoming a hotbed of business. It's also become a nexus of tourism, even within the sub-region. People can fly from Cote d'Ivoire. People can fly from Burkina. People can fly from Kumasi. And yes, maybe somebody felt that they needed an airport in Ho. They should have come out with their basic assumptions to say why. And I'm telling you, do you know how many people go to Cape Coast on tourism a year? Ghana Tourist Board tells me that at least 300,000 people go to Cape Coast alone on tourism.
And the same doesn't go to Volta region?
I don't think you have 300,000 people going to Ho on tourism.
You do not have?
I don't think so. We've registered that for Cape Coast. Now, that is just the people going for tourism. Now, if you talk of people going to Central region, that may add another maybe 100,000. So you're already finding a certain population or market that wants speedy in and out. I sit here and every time I talk to investors, I talk to people who visit. And when we say, go to visit Cape Coast, I can't go in and come back. Maybe my flight is tonight. If I go by road, I'll miss my flight. I can't do it.
Do you not think...
Wait, you haven't finished.
Let me ask you a question. The smarter thing to do would have been to dualize the Cape Coast road.
Do you know how much it costs?
Do you fancy sitting in an aircraft and flying 20 minutes, or you would prefer sitting in a car and watching the Fanti Dokun being sold at Yamranza Junction, for instance, on your way to Cape Coast?
Fanti Dokun is still stolen in Cape Coast. If I get to Cape Coast quicker, I would rather do that.
Yeah, but on your way, you would get to see so many things.
Yeah, but I don't want to spend 2.5 hours driving to Accra.
You're a tourist.
Yes, I still don't want to spend 2.5 hours.
But if you dualize the amount of money when you used to build an airport, you could dualize the highway.
That's a very false assumption that every tourist who comes is more interested in looking at the scenery along the roadside than where his destination is Cape Coast. It's a fallacious argument. It's an assumption you can't make. Let me give you a parallel. I've been to Cuba a number of times. There's a certain tourist enclave called Varadero. Varadero by road is just about an hour and a quarter, an hour and a half from Havana. Varadero is purely a tourist enclave. They have more flights to Varadero than they have to Kotoka. From Central America, from the US, from Europe, from Asia. Why? Because of tourism alone. Meanwhile, Varadero has nothing else. And I see that vision for Cape Coast. Can it be wrong? No. Because we have already 300,000 people go there annually. You already have a certain flow of transport, not to mention kids who go to school. So there's education as well.
School children will be flying. You're going to secondary school in, say, what's the name
of
St. Augustine's. You take a flight from Accra to Cape Coast.
I'm telling you, if I had a child in St. Augustine's, I'll be happier knowing that in 30 minutes he's in Cape Coast than 2.5 hours is on the road and I can't vouch for where he is on the bad driving and all that.
And if you dualize it, wouldn't be better for him?
I don't think so. It will still be easier for me to know that in 30 minutes he's in Cape Coast. You know Accra Kumasi. You know a major chunk of the traffic are students in the universities.
Yes.
So why can't it be the same?
You are the boss of the investment promotion of Ghana. The Confidjuice factory is one of the big things you are touting. You do not think that an investor in Accra who wants to go do business in Cape Coast will be excited to see what you are doing on the road, stopping at a Econfi to see
He'll probably be more excited to know that his goods will get to the market just in time for export.